Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Cagesiders. I'm Jeremy Long, your host for this half hour of debauchery. And as always, joined by my co-host, the coach, Angelo Reyes. Angelo, how are you, brother?
I'm here. That's how I am.
Loud as hell, as always.
I'm excited about the show. We finally get to talk about something other than the UFC because they're not doing anything for the next few weeks. They're really gearing up for Mayweather McGregor, which is happening next weekend. You know, big fight, our show, we keep talking about it. We've had Paulie Malignaggi on. We pretty much have we even had Scott Coker on our show talking about Mayweather McGregor. But speaking of Scott Coker, buddy, this is what I want. I want us to focus on the greatness of Bellator for this episode because they have a show the day before Mayweather McGregor. Tell us about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Bellator 182 kicks off August 25th. That's headlined by Brennan Ward versus Fernando Gonzalez.
Oh, wow. Now, I remember Brennan Ward because we did a show, and I think it was Paul Daly knocked him out with a knee.
Yeah.
Bellator gave us the highlights for it. It was awesome.
Yeah, unfortunately, Paul Daly caught him, fortunately for Paul Daly, but unfortunate for Brennan Ward. Brennan Ward is a great fighter, goes by Irish. He's that Irish kind of throwback. Another Irish fighter out there a lot of people are talking about. But, you know, this is going to be, it's a solid card.
Right.
Actually, there's a couple of good fights on there that we kind of looked at. A.J. McKee, who is so far unbeaten, our good friend Jason Manley.
Yes, he gets coached by him. And A.J. McKee's undefeated. Yeah. He's one of the hot prospects. Yeah. I actually got a chance to meet him. He's a very personable young man. And I like his swag, you know. He's got that, I actually like A.J. McKee. His swag is pretty cool. And he's got a great wrestling background. So you have a great jiu-jitsu instructor and Jason Manley. So that'll be fun. And what is it? There's a women's match that I know I'm really interested in. It's
Vita Ortega
and Bruna Ellen, right?
Bruna Ellen, the lovely and talented Bruna Ellen.
Oh, yes.
I love you. Yeah. Love you, Bruna.
Well, again, this is one of the reasons why I'm so huge on Scott Coker and Rich Chew, Mike Hogan, all those guys at Bellator, because this women's division that they're really building, 125 pounds. I mean, they got Valerie Letourneau now, right? I mean, they're pulling in everybody from every parts of the world. So I'm excited. I'm excited about the 125 women's division.
Yeah, it's almost a stark contrast, you know, to the UFC. Now, UFC did build some women's divisions. Yeah. You have a lot of very talented fighters in those divisions and everything. Hit that snag with 145. You know, we did have recently the Chris Cyborg, Tanya Evinger fight, which was a great fight.
Oh, man.
I loved it. I hate the ending for Tanya because she was so game. You know, most people thought, she's just going to get run roughshod.
She played.
Dude, she put up a fight, man. It was great.
And now she gets to come back down to 135.
She gets to go back to her preferred weight class of 135. That was her foot in the door. That was her way into UFC. So, you know, I guess she took her lumps.
Right.
But now she's in. And, you know, it doesn't look good for the women at 135 because Tanya Evinger, as she showed, is no freaking pushover.
Right,
so, you know, I'm really happy about the direction and that women's mixed martial arts in general is going. Right. The love from the UFC, of course, a lot of stars being made, created out of there. Bellator is doing a bang-up job with their female fighters, and you know it's really fun to see and watch it all, you know, come together and everything, and get to be cage side and see these ladies throw.
Yeah, no, I know you're planning on being on the September 23rd show, and like I said, you know, people have to remember that Scott Coker should be getting so much credit for starting the women's MMA movement, because you have to remember that before Ronda Rousey, long ago, when me and Jeremy were still pretty young, there was a lady by the name of Gina Carano, and that's Love Gina. Cyborg now. You guys are looking at her; she's the UFC champion. Well, you just have to remember that Cyborg was first the Strikeforce champion, and she beat Gina Carano. That was in 2009. That was in San Jose at the HP Pavilion, is what they used to call it back then. And that was one of the, that's actually, I think, the first female MMA match I ever got to go to. And it was huge. Scott Coker did such a great job with that event. There was, I think, 15,000 people or 17,000 people, and it was just nuts. So what Scott's doing now, what Bellator's doing with women's MMA, I'm really happy about it, and I'm really happy that you're going to be there, buddy. on the next one, which is September 23rd, San Jose.
I'm ready.
Benson
I'm very
Henderson,
excited.
right? What is it?
Patricky Pitbull,
Right,
Benson
yeah,
Henderson
Benson
are going to be
Henderson.
your main event there. Also,
Roy Nelson.
Roy Nelson is
Yeah.
going to make his debut for the company.
Right. And then Aaron Pico's making his comeback. And again, another classic example of one of the differences here where they put so much effort into Aaron Pico. Once goes into New York.
Right.
You know, it's Aaron Pico, here he is. He's being hyped up as the next big thing. He gets knocked out. But to me, I'm like, it's almost better that he got knocked out now, so that's out of the way. And he can just go in there and be relaxed and fight the way he wants to fight. So the fact that Aaron Pico gets to be in San Jose, I think is a great thing. And it, again, goes to show you that Scott Coker and Rich Chew, Mike Hogan's way of thinking is, hey, man, we invested in this star. Just because he lost one, well, you know, let's see what happens. Let's see, let's let him grow.
But of course, the dark horse, probably the fight of the night, at least the striking fight of the night, is going to be Lorenz Larkin, Paul Daly, also on that card. So Bellator doing it big, taking advantage of the time off from the UFC, and you know, carrying that momentum over into September. And I hear at least one more pay-per-view before the end of the year. So we'll see how it goes, man.
Never know.
We're rooting for them. Hey, competition, we need it, right? And UFC keeps everything on the same level. So stay with us after the break. Gorgeous George Garcia from MMA Junkie Radio joins us. Stick around, you don't want to miss it. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Cagesiders. Jeremy Long, along with the coach, Angelo Reyes, joined in studio now by gorgeous George Garcia from MMA Junkie. George, thank you so much for joining us, man.
Thanks for having me back.
I think you wore that last time.
I wore this last time.
It's weird how that worked. It was months ago, but we all coordinated again. You guys look like Christmas. That's funny.
Well, thank you.
So, you know, obviously, right around the corner is this kind of small fight.
Yeah,
it's
Mayweather
flying
McGregor.
under the radar a little bit. This Mayweather McGregor fight, but I really want to shine a light on it and talk about this a little bit about the breakdown between boxing and MMA. There's so much, you know, fans out there. Just, you know, I think there's so much coming at them. It has been over the last few weeks. I think people are getting confused a little bit about this. You know, what people can actually do, how McGregor's going to fare, things like that.
What do you think? I mean, like I went on your show. You know, we did 2 hours of talking about it. But even right now, George, you're going to watch it, and what do you think of it?
It's simple. In a boxing ring, Mayweather's going to dominate this fight. Of course, McGregor's got the puncher's chance. He is a hard hitter, but he's just not a polished boxer. If they were to fight MMA, Mayweather would get served up pretty easily there as well. If they were to fight in the street, you have to side with McGregor. But they're not doing any of the latter two. They're boxing. He cannot catch up on the last almost 35 years that Mayweather's been boxing. It's impossible. Great fighters have failed. Great lefties, you know, southpaw boxers have failed miserably. He doesn't even lose many rounds to southpaws, to great southpaws. The blueprint's there. The only intangible, I guess, is his age. He hasn't fought in 2 years. But, you know, I can't believe he would have declined that much. I've jokingly said Floyd Mayweather Sr. would be competitive versus Conor McGregor. But, you know, that's not the fight. This is the fight. So I just expect a domination. Now, what I think would be a disappointment is if Mayweather can't finish him. I think that'll be a huge historic win for a pride win for Conor McGregor. And I'm sure MMA fans will attach themselves a little bit to that. But, you know, MMA fans had a taste of Randy Couture and James Toney. And, you know, they won, but I saw how MMA fans acted, and it was just like, kind of, what did you expect? We knew that we sent Randy that way. It was the opposite would happen. So no shame, no shame in trying. There's a promoter out there willing to pay. I think James Toney got $500K for that fight. Randy got his purse. Good on them.
Right. And this one is obviously bigger than $500K.
Right, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
I like that you
like three more zeros.
Like I like that you mentioned the fact that, you know, if McGregor just survives, if he survives 12 rounds, he can't get knocked out, whatever. But if he actually does well, he doesn't look poor, maybe he gets his shots in, maybe he wins a couple of rounds or something like that, how big of a win would that actually be for him and his legion of Irish fans?
I don't know. I mean, it's still boxing, right, George? It's like, I mean, I get it. I get what people are saying is if, let's say, Mayweather makes it all the way to distance. I don't know, though. But if you got your
That'd be a huge
ass
disappointment.
handed to you for 12 rounds.
That'd be a huge disappointment, though.
Yeah, it would be. I guess it would be like, wow, Mayweather didn't even want to finish him. right? But I don't know. Look, I'll say this. Getting hit in the head, referee seeing it, I'd be very surprised if the Nevada State Athletic Commission continues to allow Mayweather to continue to hit McGregor over and over again over the course of 36 minutes. So I still will stand with what I said. I think it'll be a stoppage. I think Mayweather will win. I don't think it'll go the distance either way. You know, I mean, I can't see Mayweather running around. I really can't. I see him putting it on him. But for fun, we're talking about this card. What other MMA, do you think this is a possibility, MMA boxing happening more and more? And what other fun matches would you want to see right now, George, if it could happen again? MMA
this is just
boxing.
worlds colliding here.
Yeah,
because
worlds colliding.
These guys are megastars. But to play along, I think Stipe Miocic, who has Golden Gloves boxing, you know, a little bit of a resume against Anthony Joshua.
Okay.
I think that would be fun. I think Triple G against Jorge Masvidal, because they're both in that 170 range. And again, Masvidal has some boxing.
Yeah, Masvidal would be bigger
not
too.
professional boxing skills, although I believe he has professionally boxed, but not any more experience than maybe 6 or a dozen fights. So still, I think that one would be interesting. And then, you know, we saw Lomachenko versus Dillashaw, and you know, you were telling me that didn't look too good. I think I saw gifs of it, but I think those are the only two that I think jump out at me right now.
Okay, all right. I'll flip it on you then, George, for fun, because if I was going to ask boxers to jump into the MMA cage, kind of like what
I have a good one.
Randy Couture and James Toney. I think Lomachenko could jump right in there, and I'd love to see a Lomachenko versus a Cody Garbrandt in MMA. I think that would be very fun.
That's a good one.
Yeah, on a heavier one, I would actually want to see Triple G in there. I think he's got some sort of grappling sort of background. Kovalev's a good one to jump into MMA too, and I think it'd be fun to watch like a Kovalev versus maybe I don't know, like even like a Carlos Condit or something like that. You know, something fun, so like a fun match. Heavyweights, it's hard for me to see any boxing person going into MMA because there's just too many things that could happen to you, man, and too many things happen anyways. So.
I think he's retired now, but Kermit Citron was an all-state champion in wrestling. Oh. So you know, I think he still has some age to him where he could try it out. And then the last one I can think of is Chris Algieri, world champion kickboxer, and also a state champion in wrestling. I believe he was undefeated as a high school wrestler and as a kickboxer. I think he's got now 2 or 3 losses in boxing, but he's got those types of skills, so he may actually be the most qualified.
Yeah, like maybe not even fighting someone like a Max Holloway. They're in the same weight class because you know Max's ground game is too good. But like another striker-based 145er, right? That could be fun. Like maybe an Aldo or a Henan Barao versus a Chris Algieri could be fun in a MMA match, right?
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Yeah, no.
We saw a video come out just a few weeks ago, right before we get a break here, of Clarissa Shields and Chris Cyborg.
That's right. Yeah, they were
sparring,
boxing.
and you see a little bit of the difference, and they were really going at it. That was some good hard sparring, man.
Right.
So you see the difference there. I mean, Chris wasn't exactly getting her butt kicked, but she, you know, you see over the course of maybe 12 rounds where that would.
Yeah, no, and you know me, George. I like that if with boxing and MMA, just them uniting. Like, stop being separate.
Right.
It's, you know, we're all.
I think we're past.
Money, baby.
I think we're past it. A lot of the boxing media and fans are warming up to MMA, and vice versa. MMA fans and media recognize what an important component boxing is.
Yeah, no, and that's why when I went on your show, I said I think this is great for everybody. I think it puts us all in the mainstream. So
there you go. Well, George, thank you once again for joining us in studio, talking a little MMA, a little boxing. That's what we do, man.
Thanks for having me. I really had a good time, guys.
Yeah, thanks for wearing the same shirt, dude.
I only own 3 shirts. It doesn't matter. So you're going to catch me on rotation on one of them. So stay with us after the break. We're going to have more from Tito, myself, George Garcia. Stay with us.
Welcome back to the show, Cagesider fans. I'm standing right here with our guy from Vegas, the future champ.
Yes, sir.
The one that we're hoping the Keith Thurman fight finally happens, Mr. Shawn Porter.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations on your huge win.
Huge win. And big win, big fight. I think it was everything everybody expected it to be. I think everybody expected us to go toe-to-toe in the middle of the ring, but I kept him on the ropes for most of the fight. So, well executed game plan, and I'm happy right now.
What in terms of this win? where does it rank in your all-time great wins?
Actually, you know, it's right up there. You know, maybe right behind Paulie Malignaggi. You know, another big win that I had. But you know, for me, you know, I want to win. You know, that's first and foremost. But when you talk about legacy, you talk about, you know, becoming a Hall of Famer and a legend and things of that nature. Beating someone the way I beat Paulie Malignaggi or Andre Berto, the way no one has ever beaten those guys. You know, that's how you really establish, you know, that, you know, I'm the man, you know. So this is definitely one of the top fights that I've had.
And you are the man. I mean, and again, I'm not just saying it because you're in front of us. That was a heck of a performance. It's one of those performances that really excites all the fans. It makes us all go, wow, Porter would beat anyone. I mean, literally, we were watching that fight and we said, he would beat anybody right now.
And that's what I said about my division, man. We're all good, or / great, and we're all at the top of our you know, our careers right now. You know what I mean? So with that being said, there's never going to be a letdown in the welterweight division, which is cool. But I think you know, I answered a lot of questions in the fight against Andre Berto as well. You know, the big fight that I had with Keith Thurman. You know, a lot of people wanted to know, you know, what's going to happen next for me. You know, the 10-month layoff and so on and so forth. You know, I get in there and I always do my thing. You know, so I think I just kind of reminded everybody that, you know, it's always going to be exciting when I'm in the ring.
So real quick on that one, I know you can't talk too much about the business end of it, but the Keith Thurman fight. Are we going to see it this year, please?
It's just a matter of time. I know right now my timeline, due to the cuts that I've had in the fight, is going to be somewhere around fall. I know he's talking fall for himself too. So we just gotta push some buttons, you know what I mean, and you know, and shout at him and let him know that we want the fight. You know, he may run another direction right now, which is understandable. You know, it's the business. You go for the money and you make the best of your belt and what you got. You know, so we'll move forward amicably and figure it out.
Now, anything new with your gym right now? I saw Kendall Gill was working out there a little bit.
Kendall's been in there. My dad told me that he had Gamboa in here this week, you know, doing his finishing touches on the fight. Whenever you guys ready to come over, man, come on and check
All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Shawn.
Always enjoy seeing you, man.
This is the champ right here, guys. Pay attention. The best 147-pound fighter we have in boxing today, Mr. Shawn Porter. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the show. Jeremy Long along with the coach, Angelo Reyes. Angelo.
Great show.
Wonderful show as always.
Man, always.
God,
How come we never have
such a great job?
I'm just saying, we never have a bad show. Name one bad show.
Don't do that.
Go. No, you know what? If you're a hater, I want you to go to Cagesiders.com right now. Look at all our past episodes, and if you cared enough to watch all of it to find out which one was our worst episode, then I love you even more, because that's a lot of time.
That's a lot.
That's like Netflix binging, man.
All right, so coming up here in town.
Yeah, next weekend is we had her on in studio, Shannon Torres Gilman.
Yep.
Right. She was talking about the WBC event, that amateur event that she's putting together. So that's going to be August 25th and 26th at Center Ring Boxing. The coach over there is a really cool guy. He was working with the Magdaleno brothers early in the career. He gives out all of the training for free to the kids.
Nice.
So yeah, Center Ring Boxing, guys, you should support them. And Shannon Torres Gilman, you know, she's doing her thing with the WBC amateurs.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. And we loved having her on. We'll have her on again soon.
Yeah.
Of course, you know, if you follow her on Instagram, she out there always working with the kids.
Yeah.
I think they were dropping off gloves or handing out gloves a couple of weeks ago to the kids.
That's right.
And always a good time. So support your local fighters, not only on the professional levels, but also all the way down to the kids, man. You know, sports is good.
Love the
It's
kids,
vital.
people.
Don't go around saying stuff like that. Don't go around saying
I'm talking about
stuff like
supporting
that.
her.
Jeez, there you go.
I'm just doing a Whitney
Hey,
Houston
all
thing here.
right. Let's shut this circus down, people. All right, for everyone here at the Action Channel, I'm Jeremy Long. He's the coach from the Cagesiders. We'll see you next time, right? Fade to black.
Go Warriors! Go Warriors!
Ah, man, what am I gonna do with you?
I don't know.
Don't say love the kids.
Oh,